Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ada, and one of the psychotherapists or coach from Uprise. So, welcome all of you here. So now is like 12:30 p.m. Australia time. So I will start this webinar. So today's topic is like you are what you eat. So I think it's a good topic since we are I guess it's lunchtime in Australia. So before I start, so go through something like administrative with you first. So you will get a recording sent to your email after the sessions. So at the end of the webinar, we'll also ask all of you to give us feedback. What are the things that you would like to know more about, like any topics that you would suggest, or anything that you want to give us feedback and help us improve. So if you have any questions, then you can contact the Uprise team at uprise.org, like Uprise at team@Uprise, or call the number. So just as I mentioned, is like I'm Ada, one of the psychotherapists at Uprise, and I'm from Singapore. So I just had my breakfast, and I want to ask all of you, since we are waiting here, waiting for other participants, I will have a questions to ask you, and it's about like what you have eaten, what you had for lunch today. If you are in Australia and you just had your lunch, maybe you can type in your group chat. It's like, okay, what did you have for lunch? Oh, haven't had lunch yet. Red vegetable curry, chicken, salad. Yeah, thanks. Lots of greens. Nice. Love having lunch. Yeah. If you're not having lunch yet, what are you planning to have later? Oh, Chinese food. Great food. Okay, tuna. Okay. Yeah, keep coming. Okay. Just had water. Okay, so this is what you had lunch just now, or just now I said, it's like what are you planning to have. So today I will go through with you like at least two things here. One is like, okay, how do we learn to make better food choices, and then to understand between the relationship between food and moods, because at the end of the day, it's like I'm a counselor, I'm a psychotherapist. I'm also concerned, it's like, okay, what we are eating and how this is affect our mood, or the way that we are eating, like whether it's an emotional eating or mindful eating, actually we also actually is related to our mood. Thank you everyone to tell me what you have today. Okay, so just now what you had for lunch or what you're planning to have, then I'm choosing a like maybe more closer to all of you is like the Australian dietary guideline to see like, okay, what you had just now, is it fall within, like we say, it's like this plate is more healthy eating. You can see it here is maybe around 30% is vegetable, and then whole grains, cereals, bread, and pasta, and all this maybe around like 25%, and then healthy protein, and then again is around 20-ish%, and then fruits. And then we also have like milk, yogurt, and we need to drink plenty of water. So just now, for those you share with me, is like I see some of you eat tuna, some of you eat like other fish or like vegetable. I think it's, oh yeah, we fall actually is this percentage, and is we call it is like healthy eating. So maybe we look at it's like some of the guideline, again is from the Australia authority. They will say it's like, okay, you need to have plenty of vegetable. Just I mentioned, it's like maybe it's around 30% of your meals, and fruits, and then like bread, cereals, rice, and then like fish, egg, tofu, and all this. These are the things that we should eat, and we should like have a wide variety of food within these five groups. But at the same time, we need to be very mindful that things that we shouldn't, or we try not to consume too much. We always say it's like sugar, trans fat, and if you look at from this list, is the point A is a limited intake of food high in really like trans fat, or like for example like biscuit, cakes, pies, burger. Commercial burger is not the one that we make at home, but it's more like the commercial burgers, pizza, fried food, fried chicken, potato chips, and all this. Then these are the things that, okay, we need to limit our intake. And then another thing is like sugar drink, soft drink, or a lot of things that with salt. So these are the things that we need to be very mindful. But I guess it's the next question we ask ourselves is why we need to be so mindful about like don't eat too much trans fat or sugar or salt. Before we go into that, I know this chart or these photos may be a bit small to you, but if you can go back again, if you Google the Australian dietary guideline, you will see a more detailed version here. It's basically telling us again is, okay, we need to eat like quite a big portions of vegetable and a mixture of meat, and also a balance that like is the fruit and milk and plenty of water. So just as I said, it's like, hey, why is it so important? If you look into details about the guideline, they will say it's like actually all this food is to prevent disease, or there's a correlation that is especially like, for example, like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, or even like for fish, we always say it's like dementia, or our memory and our mood, and all these things actually is all related to what we are consuming. Okay, what is the relationship between food and mood? I think this is the main thing that we need to understand. I have a second question here. What do you turn to when you're feeling low? What kind of food will you eat? When I say feeling low, can be like when you feel depressed, and then these are the things that I will eat. When I feel stressed, these are the things that I will eat. Yeah, again, it's put in the good check, and to see like, okay, is there any common like response here? Is like, okay, when we feel sad, okay, the majority of people that, okay, I see chocolate here. Chocolate and cake, comfort food. Okay, snacks, chips, cookies. Yeah. Okay. Pasta, Coke, and chocolate. It seems to us is the majority is, there's two things that we will see here is when we feel sad or low mood, we tend to eat sweet stuff, chocolate, cakes, all these things that we feel like, okay, will make us happy. So in the short term, yes, later I will explain to you more. Or sometimes when we feel stressed, then a study also find out that when we feel stressed, we tend to eat things that can be like kind of fatty, or we need carbohydrate, because again, it's bring the feeling of we feel calm. So, but again, it's temporary. So eating something sweet, so we say it's like the happy hormone, the pleasure hormone. So temporary, we will see is like, okay, we'll release in the brain, and when we consume like all this sweet food. Some researcher, they did a research before and see like, okay, after we eat sweets, what will happen to the brain? So they did, not to a human, but they used the rats, and to see it's like after the rats eat sweets, then they did a brain scan, what will happen to the rats? Then they find out that actually the impact on sweets or candies and all these sweet things on our brain is very similar to the effect of cooking. So what will happen is actually will kind of like impact like the dopamine and all these things. Is at the end of the day, we will maybe temporarily we feel like, oh yeah, we feel energetic, we feel like the power, but in the long term, it will create some issues, for example, like hyperactive, for example, like depressions and all this, and also can be addictive. So emotional eating, how many of you heard of this term before? What is emotional eating? If yes, then you just put a yes. If let's say no, yeah. So what is emotional eating? What is the difference between emotional eating and regular eating? What is the difference between emotional eating and, like, we call it, is like a real hunger? Yeah, Mandy, yes, thanks. It's for comfort. What else? A true hunger. Yes, Natalie. It's like we are eating because we are not hungry. Eating to feel good. Yeah. So one thing we need to understand is like, okay, the true hunger is you will develop slowly over time, and you can crave for like a variety of food. That means it's like, okay, I will eat anything, that actually I will not be selective. Versus the emotional hunger, we will know that actually is, I may not feel really hungry, but I just need it for my mood. And then I may crave for very specific things that just now we listed. There is chocolate, cakes, pizza, fried food, or all these things. And we call it as like the true hunger. That means it's the regular one. Is after we eat, we won't feel like guilty, because we really need to eat, and then we eat it. But when you are doing emotional eating, then you will know that actually can tend to binge eating, and then you will feel guilty after that. And we will crave for specific food, and we'll binge it, and then we will feel guilty. And then there's a few things that we need to be aware when see whether we are doing emotional eating, or we call it as whether we have emotional hunger. One thing is whether you eat without any awareness. That means it's when we feel stress and all this, because we don't want to have the feeling of stress, then we end up eating without even knowing. That means it's by the time that you are aware that, okay, oh, I finished a packet of potato chips, I finished all my Tim Tam and all this, then is you eat without awareness. But another thing is, some individual will say, like, I am doing emotional eating, but actually I have the awareness. That means is, you know what, I think like instead of going for exercise, I need to drink a cup of chocolate milk and all this, and then I will feel calm. This is more like we have the awareness and we choose that, and then okay, you may or may not feel guilty after that. All depends. You feel like, okay, it's really like the thing that I know this is what I do and I choose to do it, or like, no, actually I know I shouldn't do it, but at the end I still do it, and I will have the guilt feeling. So when we have the emotional eating, just like I mentioned, is awareness. And then another thing we need to be very mindful is actually what are the emotions that we are having, and we try to think about like, whether I should eat. If let's say it happened, maybe you can do a check-in with yourself. It's like, okay, how am I feeling now? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling anxious? Yeah, I want to eat. Maybe I wait for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, see whether I still craving for the same food or want to eat, or any other ways that actually we can do to distract ourselves or manage our emotions. Would I want to go for a walk instead? Would I, read a book or talk to my loved one instead of going to the mood of it's like emotional eating? So that means is, okay, whether you have the awareness, check in with yourself. What are the emotions behind? Is there any other alternative instead of going to the emotional eating mode? Okay, there's a book here. It's called Junk Food and Junk Mood. So yes, 10 years ago, but I think it's when you read all these study, they always tell you that when you're eating junk food, there's high likelihood that there's a correlation is over 50%. You also show a sign of depression. So And versus just now, you see the pie is like, okay, 35% of vegetable, 30% of like healthy meat and milk and cereal, all this. Actually, when you eat all this, because it's healthy whole food, is they would say it's like 35% less likelihood that you will fall into depression. So that means is when we feel sad and all this, yeah, we may, again, it's temporary. We may want to have the junk food and chocolate and all these things. But in the long term, we also need to be very mindful that there's correlations that is linked to depression or all these emotional issues that we may surface. And the reason behind is when we had all this junk food before your body react, actually the first things suffer actually is your mood. Okay, trans fat, cakes, fried food, potato chips, all these, again, studies show that actually if we consume 1.5 grams per day, again, it's 45% increase in the risk of depression. And the trans fat actually is related to depression, anxiety, memory problem, and aggression and all this. So there's a video, I don't have time to show it here, but is if you have the slide, you can watch this video. It's talking about like, okay, what is the right kind of energy or feel to our body? Because just I mentioned is when we eat food, it's not only about to our body, to our mind is important. Later I will share with you about the happy hormone and what are the food that actually is good, instead of when we feel stressed, we fall back to like cakes, chocolates, and all this. Okay, what are the healthy food? What are the impact? So the long-term impact is really like we see like will help your physical, mental, and emotional. And all this junk food, what will happen is short-term effect. At the point of time, we will have a temporary relief, maybe a very quick energy boost. For example, like after you eat chocolate, after you drink soft drink, and for example, like Coke and all this. But after that, very maybe the effect is off, then you will see like you will experience low energy and a low emotion again. And then if eating is the only way that to feel distress, then you may end up again is the cycle of the emotional eating. Okay, what are the healthy food here? I guess some of you is already know, and because like I see like just now, some of you say is eat salmon, tuna, and all this. One of the things is from fish, then you will see is like omega-3 is important because it's linked to autism, ADHD, Alzheimer, and depression, and reduce the inflammation and reduce the chances, the correlations. And vitamin D, either a supplement or actually, vitamin D actually is our sunlight, and all this will have a positive impact or effect on our mood, attention, our motivation. And the lower the zinc level, the greater depression, the chance you will have, and then magnesium also. So, and I guess that's why is we need to look at the food input, and sometimes is I know that some of you may also take supplement, and all this is because it's our brain, our mind, or our mood actually need. For example, here is omega-3, vitamin D, and magnesium. Okay, happy food. So these are the happy food here. How many of you have, like to eat any of this? You can put in the group chat what are the things that you like. Green tea, yeah, yogurt, honey. All of that, nice, only banana. Okay, chamomile tea, berries. Okay, maybe I will go through, like, since we have time, we can go through a one by one. What is the good things about honey? Sweets. Yeah, antibiotics, natural sweeter. Yeah, actually, honey is can increase. We say it's like there's two happy hormone, serotonin and dopamine. Is can increase these two happy hormone. you remember just now when we feel sad and all this, we may crave for, like sweet things, or like, like sugar and chocolate and all these things. But actually, honey actually is a way, is important element to can increase the happy hormone serotonin and dopamine, and make us feel like, okay, pleasant, happy, and calm. Okay, how about like some of you say berries here? So what is the good things about berries? Less sugar. Yes, filling. Okay, okay, yeah. What berry also related to our mood. Good in muffins. Is related to our mood. Is berries actually, again, is the study find that it can reduce the symptoms of anxiety and depression. Yeah. So then that's why it's okay. We always call all this is healthy food. So just now, like olive oil is to increase the healthy fat versus the trans fat, and also can improve the mood. It's all good mood food. Okay, mango. Anyone mentioned mango here just now? Yeah, so mango is a lot of vitamin C, but at the same time, it's also say it's like can show the research will show is like actually is to fight depression and stress. Yeah, mango smoothies. Okay, banana. Someone say banana here. Banana is rich in potassium and can help to avoid irritations and come with low sugar. Okay, pumpkin seeds is again is another thing that to promote the happy hormone, the serotonin. Yoga, some of you said yoga here is is a way that a lot of full of protein and to increase or to help us to have the feeling of containment. Okay, green tea. Some of you say green tea here is to refill the fat, um, and will also boost our mood. There's two things. Okay, nothing here more. Sometimes some individuals they will say it's like, oh, okay, I drink coffee, I drink red wine. So it's as long as it's not too much. Actually, is especially red wine. You will see it's like they will say it's like also will help like lower the risk of depression, reduce like fat belly and all these things. So since we have this example of happy food here, I just wonder like, okay, maybe today, if you plan for your dinner, is there anything that or tomorrow breakfast you would like to add in and then become part of your, like healthy, happy food? There's another videos and I will not have time to show. Is actually is again is tips on food and mood. So before we end, I just want to ask you a few questions, maybe to check in with yourself. Just now we say it's like, when we have food, we need to have a, like very balanced portion. Okay. We have fish, we have vegetable, we have cereals and all this. First question I pose to all of you is how balanced are your meals? Yeah. How balanced are your meal? How much vegetable you? Not very. Yeah. So we need to be very mindful, like, okay, because it's not only for your physical health. Now I'm telling you that the balance, the healthy, all this healthy food actually is also is related to our mental health, our mood, whether we feel good or feel like we put ourselves like under a higher chance or higher risk of depression or mood disorder. Actually, it can be because of one of the things is what are the food that we are giving our brain, our mind. Yeah. So how balance our mood? What kind of food that you were craving towards when you're feeling down? So so I hope after today, other than that, okay, I crave for sugar, I crave for candy, I crave for chocolate. Okay, actually, there's some healthy food replacement that just now I mentioned here, can be just like banana, berries, or honey, and all these things. They are healthy snacks. they also serve the same purpose to really boost your mood and then give you like stimulates the happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine, but not really addictive, or at the end of the day will create any issues here. The third thing is, other than alternative happy food, what are the activity that if let's say just as I said, check in with yourself, check in with your mood. If you sense that you are stressed, okay, instead of eating a pizza, is there any other way that you can distress also? Any other activity that you can do? Exercise, walking, involve, music. Always go back to the thing that is our five sense. Walking is using our physical movement to distress. If you're talking about music, then we are talking about like audio. If you're talking about visual, then can be like, okay, I go sightseeing, I watch a movie, I watch TV, then it's visual. Or even like you play games, as long as not too much, not addictive, then it's visual. And then smell, watch comedy, go to the beach, and all this smell is essential oil and like a candles, it smell. But there's a fifth one, is really the oral one. Is that's why we may want to eat, we may want to drink when we feel stressed. But what I'm telling you today is like, okay, when we feel stressed, when we want to eat, mindful that we doing emotional eating? Am I having awareness, or am I eating because I'm really hungry, or actually because of my emotion? If let's say it's our emotions, is there any healthy food, or is there any other way to do it? Usually, as I mentioned, is when you want to eat, especially emotional eating, pause yourself for 5 to 10 minutes to check in with yourself. Is what are the emotions you're having, and do you really need to eat? Is there any other way to distress yourself or to do other things? And then you will be more mindful in your eating. So okay, go back to my slide. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can post in the group chat, or if you feel like you want to talk to one of the coach, one of us, then especially facing, just I mentioned, it can be stress related, can be mood related, or even you realize that, oh yeah, I have a tendency will be emotional eating, and you would like to talk to one of us. If you are if Uprise is one is your EAP provider, then your coaching will be free resources to for all of you, and you can also search information via the app and book sessions with one of us here. So, yeah, I welcome your questions. I welcome your feedback, and for those of you who haven't had your lunch, hopefully you have some ideas as what are the things that you can add to your lunch. If you need to prepare your dinner or your tomorrow meals, please think about like, okay, what are the healthy food that you should put in your meals, and make sure that, okay, you can balance your mood, and at the same time it's actually also is important for your physical health and mental health. Yeah, take care everybody, and we will send the slides to all of you. Yeah.